personal leadership philosophy really boils down to a couple of main points. First off, leading by example. You want to make sure that you define and know the values of what you're trying to put forth. So the company's values or the department values or team values, whatever you want, you need to live by those values and lead by example of those values. So if our value is excellent, clear, always, then every single time you need to put that forth, right? So no cutting corners is how I work. So it's the right way every time, period. You need to inspire others to live that way too, and to act that way. I think it's important to expect the best out of your team members, and you get the best out of your team members, while also enabling them to do so. So if you expect the best, but you aren't setting them up for that, you're setting them up for failure. So leading by example, knowing your values, inspiring others to live by those values, and then encouraging and helping them to act on those values. Sounds like a lot of values buzzwords. And an example would be the other day I was at work, the power went out in a burn unit, and there's a little bit of panic there, and I think people were calling around, seeing what needed to be done. I left my area at another ICU to go over to burn directly to ask if they needed assistance. Not just, hey, do you need help, calling, but showing up, here I have hands, what do you need to do? Do you need to bag someone? Do you need to pull someone off a ventilator? What's going on over here? I think, jumping with your hands, ready there to help is very important. And knowing when that is appropriate to do, that isn't always necessarily the leadership's role to hands-on approach. I think it's important for a leader to be able to do so, to jump in when necessary. I think if a leader is always jumping in, then they could possibly be missing out on what their actual role is. You need to be making sure that you're setting everyone else up for success. If you have to jump in to do that, then great, do so. But you shouldn't have to do that always. You should be setting it up for success. That's a good question. New hiring process can be just not very fun for everyone involved. I think when you're looking for a new hire, besides the basic, are they skilled? Do they know? Are they knowledgeable? I want to look at long-term potential. Is this person someone that fits with us? Do we fit with them? I want this to be a symbiotic relationship. I want them to be happy. I want us to be happy with them. So I want to find out, what's their long-term goals? What are our long-term goals of this team member? I want them to be enthusiastic and passionate. I want positive attitudes above almost all things. I think often education can be learned. We can teach people to be better therapists, but you can't always expect to turn someone's attitude or their enthusiasm. I think I would rather work with a few RTs who are positive and willing and happy to be at work than some genius level RTs that hate being there. It's not going to be great. I want them to be, again, a team player. I want, this is very much a team approach. I'm a very team-based leader myself. I grew up playing team sports. I was a leader of my hockey team. I was a team captain, but I played defense. A lot of people think that the lead is always up front, scoring goals, doing the big thing, making things happen. Whereas oftentimes I think leadership is there more often as a support role. It's a little column A, a little column B, but there's a lot of support that goes into that. And so I want to make sure that everyone else can do their job, and I want to make sure that everyone is a part of that team and they know their role, and if they can, to help everyone else out as well. Firing employee is never fun. It's part of how things work. It's something that we all have to do. It's not good or pleasant for anybody. I think that if I am getting to the point where I'm firing someone, there's no surprise there. I'm going to call them inside. I'm going to call them at my office. I'm going to talk to them directly. I'm going to sit them down, and first thing out of my mouth is going to be say, today's going to be the last day here. I don't want any drama. I don't want any confusion. If we've gotten to this point, then there's been, there's been disciplinary action. I have worked with someone. You don't just get fired when you mess up once, generally. So I, at this point, will have coached them through a process of changing behavior, changing said act, whatever it is that needed to be changed. So at this point, if they're still doing something, then they will know that they have not been meeting expectations, and they've had coaching there. You have to be prepared for a little emotion. It's not fun. This person is someone you've worked with, who's been, part of your team. And today's going to be a lot, it's going to be a lot for them. It's going to be a lot for you. You just have to get through it. Be concise and be educational. I think it's important to be open with them. This is why this didn't work out. This is why this is not a good fit. That way, honestly, I want them to learn from this. I want them to grow from the experience. Yeah, this isn't working out. Maybe it'll work out somewhere else. Maybe this isn't a good fit. Maybe they are a better fit elsewhere and they will be happier. I want everyone to be happy. That's a good question. I currently don't have employees under my supervision, so I don't have any exact examples. But that being said, I'm a very positive person. I think that too often we forget to celebrate accomplishments, even if they're basic accomplishments. You can go years in healthcare without anybody telling you good job if you're just doing an adequate job. I mean, that's not how it goes always, everywhere, but in healthcare, you can be perfectly adequate, you can save lives, you can not mess up ever, and no one will tell you good job, you just did your job. I think that it's okay to celebrate little wins. Hey, you corrected that blood gas. Good job. Hey, you nailed it. I had a doctor give me a high five the other day because he was like, oh, here's the blood gas for stock. And I was like, oh, let's just turn off the rate a little bit. And we did another one, and then it came back good. And he was like, hey man, good job. You really earned it. Good job. You did it. And it was like, yeah, man, that's my job. I do that every day. I know how to do this thing. But I still remember that. A doctor told me good job. He gave me a high five. Something so simple as just being positive like that can make a work environment so much more positive and so much more fun to be at. Why wouldn't you want to be positive? I think people are motivated a lot more by honey than vinegar. I have worked places where management has been punitive first. So for every time you did something wrong, immediately you're getting written up. Immediately you're getting some sort of nasty gram. I think that's counterintuitive to positivity in the workplace. I think if people are afraid, then it's not going to be a good time. I think that if you have a positive environment, people are going to be more willing to speak to you directly. I think they're going to be more willing to admit mistakes, because I think the air should be, we need to fix the mistake, not punish what happened or how it happened, who did the problem. So I think motivation stems from a few different areas. And again, that's part of your job as a leader, and that is to encourage your team, to inspire. We want this to be the best ever, and we can't have that unless everyone is on board. This is a very good question. I think for me personally, I used to always think that the best manager would just roll their sleeves and jump in, period. I think I have a lot of respect for managers who do that, and I think too often early that was my go-to as a manager, rather than be more of a general, step back and manage the situation. Maybe it would have been better to ask another employee on that unit if they could help out, rather than running over there myself and helping out with the code. You have to use your resources appropriately, rather than thinking that you can do it all by yourself. Because I think at the end of the day, as a manager, as a leader, you have to manage everything that's going on. You have to lead the crew. And my personal growth has led me towards noticing that personally I tend to step in, and that isn't always the most appropriate answer, and that's okay. Now for the quick self-evaluation part of this process, I think I deserve a solid B for this class. I did all the reading. It's good reading. Good information there. I did all discussion board posts. I didn't quite follow up as much as I should have on a couple of them. That's why I don't think I deserve an A. It's been a very busy semester. I've been working 4 or 5 days a week. I'm getting married in a few days. There's a lot going on the side. But the class overall, I've learned a lot. I think I will be using quite a bit of this moving forward, and already have been in my practice. So, I think I deserve a B. Thanks. You have a great day.